Ryan Braun wins drug test appeal. It's quite a deal. Is Ryan Braun wrong, or is he right to proclaim his innocence winning his drug test appeal? When one looks at the circumstances behind his victory, it might appear that if the National League MVP Milwaukee Brewer isn't on drugs in making this proclamation, the third arbiter, Chaim Das, certainly was. What was Das doing? Did the Hebrew Hammer, with his drug-taking case, dodge a bullet and nix a nail in his coffin? Dick Pound, former boss of the World Anti-Doping Agency, certainly thinks so. He pounds away, not mincing words, and chops up the ruling thusly. He's won on a very thin legal technicality that has no substantive value at all. The left fielder may not be able to save his reputation with this fish nor foul ruling, but he's not suspended for 50 games this season and saves a couple of $1 million plus in the process. If Ryan Braun truly did not have elevated testosterone purportedly 5 times the normal amount in his system, then he should feel relieved, aggrieved, and sincerely at peace with himself. But if that October positive testing was accurate, only to be turned around on a storage of sample provision, then to a normal, well-adjusted person, the win would be, or should be, a hollow one. If he knows he escaped by the skin of his teeth, his biggest feat this year would not be a hitting spree, but the Academy Award Oscar nomination he'd get for prancing and preaching around training camp and the regular season talking to teammates, management, reporters and fans with a continuous straight face on. If he knows deep down he's guilty of sin, will he find it unbearably hard to live with himself, or will he condition his public persona under Seinfeld's George Costanza rule, rubric, and realm of human philosophical rationale, reasoning and rot got to aver, it's not a lie if you believe it? Does this ruling help or hurt Major League Baseball? To hide behind the skirts of stipulations seems to skirt the issue of drug-taking guilt or innocence. For many on-the-edge fans, this might push them over to the anti-side. To die-hard Brewer and Braun fans, this is sweet vindication, no matter how it smells, to the unbiased. Braun had an independent lab do a second test, which showed normal levels of testosterone. How does one account for such a huge variance in scores? The old fallback of mendacious medication was blamed for the off-the-charts first finding. Braun has consistently declared he was innocent, not a victim, thank God, and thanks to the urine sample collector for Comprehensive Drug Testing Inc., Dino Lorenzi Jr., storing the stuff in his fridge at home, rather than sending it to a Federal Express the same day as mandated by baseball's drug deal, Braun's strike one means nothing. He's still at bat. Take that. He's a big number one, the first to beat the rap in the appeal game since baseball started navel-gazing after that sport had had their head up their butt during the Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire charade plays. One thing's for sure, we won't know the nuts and bolts of this screwy decision until the independent arbiter Das releases his written report within 30 days. The union rep, Michael Weiner, sided with Das, while management member Rob Manfred dissented. Outvoted 2-1, Manfred did not slink into the shadows, but declared, basically, that the ruling was totally disagreeable. Disagreeable or not, the facts speak for themselves. But what are these facts saying? How on earth did the first testosterone test reading come in so high? Honest error? Tampering with the specimen? Major League Baseball says none of the 3 seals are broken. Faulty, skewed results due to the home storage? A combination, in whole or in part, of all the above? Or none of the above? No matter that detractors will see labor lawyer Chaim Das's ruling as flaky, the arbiter himself is no flake. He's a National Academy of Arbitrators member. There's an academy for arbitrators? Do they parade down a communist red carpet? Where were we? Any contortionist worth his salt has to admire the intellectual permutations and pretzel logic of Chaim Das, who bent the intent of the drug appeal procedure into an unrecognizable contraption of all bureaucratic blunderbuss blather with no meaningful action. Sure, the letter of the law has been seen to, but the alphabet of the baseball law has been assailed, and now everyone, and the law, except for Braun, who saw that all knew he was innocent, is woefully blind. With such an ersatz, fake orgasm finish such as this, baseball had better bank on the great unwashed masses, knee-deep in their own faults and foibles, balking on blaming baseball for this bad, unsightly end. Baseball should adopt the carbon isotope ratio test as the best means to figure out if someone's packing in the synthetic testosterone. So says Victor Conti. He's with the Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative. The body has natural testosterone, and by examining the atomic makeup of testosterone in the urine, the pointy heads can determine whether synthetic stuff slithers in there too. All this is small potatoes now. How can Ryan Braun dispel the suspicions of his presumed and expected guilt? By having a better season than last year's MVP one. It's going to be a tall order to surpass or equal his .332 batting average, his 33 homers, and his 111 RBIs. And should he fall short of those marks, well, the greater the discrepancy, the greater the derision that will shout itself out in ballparks and bars across America. Will whining, pining, and crying become America's favorite pastime?